welcome to my North Knit Corner. My name is Anne and I come to you from the south of Norway, where I live with my husband and our 3 sons. Welcome, episode 20. Welcome if you are here for the first time, and welcome back if you have been here before. I hope you are well and that you have some minutes to spend with me while you're knitting or crocheting. And let's talk about what I have been up to since last time. I will have timestamps below on this episode, so just skip ahead if there is something you don't want to listen to. And I will have information about the things I talk about in the description box below this episode. Before we start, I think I will have some live chat in the beginning. If you are not interested in that, as I said, there are timestamps, so just skip ahead to the knitting if you want to. But the things that's happened to me the last few weeks will be showing in my knitting, I think. So yeah. As I said last episode, they have found a tumor on my left lung. I took some pictures in December, some CT scans, and they found it on them. So now I've been to the hospital and had an operation to remove the tumor because it looks like it's malignant. Yeah, so I've spent about a week at the hospital. There's been a lot of knitting time, so I have a lot of finished objects today. But I just want to say thank you to all of you who sent me messages and told me that you're thinking about me, praying for me. I feel so grateful and blessed to have friends, because I like to think of you all as my friends, knitting friends around the world. So I feel so blessed to have you all in my life. Yeah, and thank you for encouraging me and thinking of me. It means a lot, and it really helped me through the week at the hospital and the time after when I come home. And yeah, I have some pain after the operation and some things I have to let me see if I can find the right word in English. I have to not train up, but they have removed some of my lung, and I have to get back to how it was before with a little less lung. Yeah, I don't know if that made sense at all, but yeah. So the last days here at home, I haven't done much else than sitting here in my corner and knitting. And I'm so grateful for my knitting that I had that when I was in the hospital. I was knitting and watching all the podcasts, and found some new podcasts as well, because I saw everything. Yeah, so I'm very grateful that I had that to pass the time. Yeah. So just want to say thank you again for all your support, encouragement, and kind words. Finished objects. There are quite some projects done. Yeah. We can start with what I am wearing, which is the salmon tunic by Mini Me Design. It's knitted in Sandnes Kos. Sandnes Kos is a blend of alpaca, wool and nylon. It's in the color light beige, and the number is 2611. It's supposed to be a tunic, but I knitted it longer, so it's a dress. It stops just under my knees, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I really love it, and I think it's going to be something that I wear a lot, at least now, just in this time when the spring is starting to come and before the summer comes. When the summer comes, I think it will be maybe a bit too warm, maybe not in the, Norwegian summer nights can be quite cold, so I can use it then maybe, but in the spring and maybe early fall, it will be a great garment to have. I've knitted on needle 5mm. I think you're supposed to knit on 6mm, but I didn't get gauge, and it was like really holy. I didn't like it, how the fabric turned out. So when I went down to 5mm, I got gauge, and I was really happy with how it looked. I knitted size 2, and it weighs 289 grams. I can try to stand up and show you because it has pockets. Yeah, it was very fun to knit, and it went by so fast. In the beginning, it took some time because I had so many things to knit on, and I didn't bring this to the hospital. So when I came home, I think before I left, I had knitted the top of the dress, and I think maybe I had, I'm not sure really if I had taken off the arms. Yeah, I hadn't knit so much on it before I left, but when I came home, I knitted the whole thing in a couple of days. It went by so fast, but I had a lot of knitting time, so but it was a lot of fun to knit. Even though it's a lot of stockinette, it's different parts, and with the pockets, there are some parts there and there, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun to knit, and went by really fast. And I like how the shoulders are with the ribbed pattern. Yeah, just really pleased with the dress. And I was inspired by Magda Knits, she had knitted this dress, I think. Yeah, it has to be over a year ago. I don't remember, but I saw it first on her podcast, and I was really inspired. Went out and bought yarn for it right away, and it's just been in my stash for such a long time, but I finally got to knit it, and I'm so happy. I really want to knit more dresses. I really enjoy wearing it, and it was fun to knit as well. So I don't know if I'm going to knit more of this pattern, but I want more knitted dresses. Yeah, for sure. So if you have any recommendations for a knitted dress that maybe you have knitted, or you could recommend it, that would be great. Okay, then I was left with the 3 balls plus a little more of the Sandnes Kos yarn that I used for this, because I had bought, I think, 9 balls of Sandnes Kos, because that's what I thought I needed. But even though I knitted it longer and everything, I still have 3 balls left, and that annoys me. Because yeah, I like to have I don't want to have too much left that I have in my stash. I just want it out. So I decided to use it right away to get it out of my stash, out of my life. So Hannah Löben in Herb Garden Knitwear, she gave out a new hat design, I think in November, December, monument hat. And I really wanted to knit that, but it's in 2 strands of unspun yarn and with a lace strand. And unspun yarn is not readily available to me here where I live. Of course I can buy it online, but I thought maybe I could wait till I maybe can get somewhere where I can see it in a store and buy, because I really want to try unspun yarn. But Sandnes Kos, I thought maybe I could try and use that for this pattern. So I bought the monument hat pattern, and in 2 days I knitted 3 monument hats. So the first one I knitted in Sandnes Kos, the same color as this, light beige, I knitted size 3 on 5mm needles. I didn't knit a gauge swatch for this, so of course I don't have gauge, so it's a little bit small, but it's not. Someone can use it. I can have it for my gift box. But here it is. It's really soft and squishy and lovely. And then, because of course I wanted one for myself, so then I decided to take Sandnes Kos together with Dale Tynn Kid Silk Erle. It was some leftovers that I had. In the color 4002 light gray, and I decided to knit the size 5. I think it's the biggest size. By the way, this weighed 33 grams, if that is of interest to anyone. But the next one, yeah, I knitted the size 5 on 6mm needles, and it weighs 49 grams and looks like this. And this fits me, yeah. So I'm really happy with that, and it's so soft. So I'm looking forward to using this. And of course, I think maybe size 3 is what I should have knitted if I got gauge, but I didn't bother to do a gauge swatch, so that's on me. But I don't mind having some hats in my gift box. That's just nice. Yeah, I think maybe the stitch definition is better on this one, maybe because I have a lace strand with, I don't know. Yeah. But then I remembered that I had, I went to a festival last year where we got a goodie bag, and I got 3 small balls of Rauma Puno in 3 different colors. I think it was approximately 20 grams in each ball that I didn't really know what to do with. But Rauma Puno is about the same thickness as Sandnes Kos, I think. So I decided to try and knit the monument hat in that as well. So with 3 colors then. I knitted size 5 again, and on 5mm needles. Here it is. 3 different colors. And of course you're supposed to have the brim up like this. This is it fits me, but it's a little bit small. So it will be a gift, I think, for someone. Yeah, this weighs for 46 grams. I didn't have enough of the blue. I should have knitted longer with the brown because I had more left of that. But I thought that was a great spot to change colors, so that's on me. So I had to decrease faster than the pattern says to have enough yarn, but that's okay. But I'm really happy with how it is anyway. I think it's such a beautiful pattern and it was so much fun to knit, and I really want to get my hands on some unspun yarn so I can do this pattern properly. Yeah. Some words are harder than others. But I have 3 monument hats. Very, very nice pattern. I really recommend it. Okay. And then, of course, I have a Christmas hat done because I am making myself a Christmas hat box. And it's Kalenderlua or Calendar Hat 2020. It's a pattern handmade by Mona. The pattern is on Instagram for everyone to use on her handle, handmade by Mona. And here it is. I think it turned out so nice. I have knitted this in Rauma Finull, 100% Norwegian wool, one of my favorite yarns. The blue is 438 Farmer's Blue, and the other one is 401 Nature. I knitted on needle 2 and 2.5 millimeter, and this weighs 62 grams. It's it fits me, but it's a little bit big, and that's why I was knitting on 2 and 2.5 millimeters. I think maybe you are supposed to knit on 3.5. But I am a loose knitter. I never get gauge. That's just the story of my life. But it's okay. I will use it anyway. So happy with this one. So now I have 3 Christmas hats for my box. Perfect. Okay, I hope you are not tired of finished objects. As I said, I had a lot of knitting time. And the next one is Cargill Cow by Rebecca Clow or Crea Bea. It is done and it is here. Yes, I have knitted this in sock yarn from a fingering sock yarn from Garnbutikken Fortuna, Norwegian hand iron. They had a Christmas surprise box in 2021 where I got this sock yarn, and I knitted together with Dale Tynn Kid Silk Erle in the color light gray 4002. This was so much fun to knit. It's very easy to learn the repeats, and yeah, it was so much fun to knit. Of course, I haven't written down what needle I used, but it will be here, I assume. I think maybe if I am knitting this again, which I really want to, I think maybe I will take away one section. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but just have it a little bit tighter than it is now. I can try to take it on. Sorry if I'm against the mic. Yeah, it's okay, but I could really like it to be a bit tighter around my neck. I think it's a bit too wide, and I don't think it lays down really nice. Maybe it's how it's supposed to be. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah. So maybe if I knit it again, I want to take away a little section of it, but that's no problem to do. Yes, and now I have mohair in my mouth. Yeah, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I really like the colors, and yeah. So another great project. The next one I knitted was just some socks. My 14-year-old son wanted some socks, and of course I will knit him socks. If I can get them down. It's just a DK vanilla sock. I used the pattern from a crazy sock lady, DK vanilla socks. I think that's such a great basic pattern to use. I used some scraps that I have for the top here and for the fading. It's from Enchanted Forest Fiber, also a Norwegian hand dyer. And I used Drops Fabel for the gray is Drops Fabel. The color is gray and number 200. Knitted on needle, 3mm needles, size medium. They weigh 109 grams. Yeah, just a very easy but sturdy, nice pattern. I think it's gives it some interest when you fade in another color like this. Yeah, so I hope you will be happy with this. Okay, my last FO is Chunky Dahlia by Lene Holme Samse or Lenit. I started on this when I took the train into the hospital, because the hospital is in the capital. The hospital is in Oslo, the capital of Norway. So me and my husband, I had my husband with me. We took the train from where we live. It's about 4.5 hours with the train. So when I sit down in the train and when it left the station, I started to cast on this Chunky Dahlia. It was kind of fiddly because you are doing a provisional cast on, and I have on 2 needles. So I had them like hanging, and my husband was just like, what are you doing? Because it's so fiddly, and yeah, but it's great to have those live stitches when you are going to knit neckband together. Yeah. Anyway, here it is. I've knitted it in Viking Alpaca Breeze. It's a blend of alpaca, merino wool and nylon in the color light brown 309, together with Drops Kid Silk in the colorway chocolate, and the number is 35. I knitted the size extra small on 6 and 7mm needles. I have knitted this before in a yellow color, and I knitted the size small, but and I love that sweater. I use it all the time. It's so easy to just grab and wear for everything. It's so soft and good, and it goes with everything. So I really wanted another one, and now I have it. Yeah, but since the other one was in small, I thought it was a little bit too oversized. In the beginning, when it was just finished, I was not really happy with it, but it turned out to be one of the sweaters I use the most. But this time I decided to do extra small, and I'm happy with that. It really has a great fit. It's not the size that I'm supposed to knit if you think about the recommended positives in the pattern, but I don't mind. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I did it. It's not cropped because it's cropped for me because I tend to knit my sweaters maybe longer, but in the last few sweaters I decided to do them more cropped because I like to have them over high-waisted jeans and dresses and skirts, and that's nicer when it's not so long. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, and it's I love to knit this leaf motif, and it goes by really fast. I think I knitted this up in 4 days. I didn't knit on it 4 days straight because there was an operation and post-op in between. but it went by so fast. So I knitted this the week I was in the hospital, and yeah, so maybe not the best memories connected with this sweater, but that's okay. I really love it. When I was done with it and I saw it, I thought maybe it looked like it had some really light stripes because the Viking Alpaca Breeze is a light brown, and then the chocolate color of the Drops Kid Silk is really dark. And I wanted that because I wanted the marled effect. But it's just like the Kid Silk, maybe like the strand just is behind the other strand, if that makes sense. So it's the light strand that stands out, and it looks like it's got some big like spots where it's just really the light color, and I wasn't really happy with it. I don't know if you can see it, but after a while and when I was wearing it and looked myself in the mirror with it, it doesn't bother me anymore, because I don't think it's something that people is going to pay attention to. Because you don't really stare into people's sweaters like that. So I think it will be okay. And yeah, I'm excited to start to use this. Yeah, I can really recommend the Chunky Dahlia pattern. It's really fast and fun to knit. Works in progress. I have a new slipover on the needles because I knitted my 14-year-old son slipover, and I showed you that last time, I think. I had 3 balls left of the yarn that I used for his slipover. It was Viking Tren Merino Petite. It's 100% merino wool, non-superwash, in the color middle brown, number 316. And since I had 3 balls left, I thought I can buy a couple of more and make him another one, because on the last slipover I knitted for him, I had to mesh 2 patterns from Sun Is Gone. I have a booklet called Sunday. It's number 2008. And and I used the Mr. Casual slipover and Honey slipover from this booklet to get the right size for him, because in the Mr. Casual slipover, the small size would be too big for him. So I've knitted him a vest that fits just perfectly right now, but he is growing. And so I decided that with the leftovers from his vest and with the extra balls that I bought, I want to knit him the smallest size in Mr. Casual slipover, which is a pattern from Sandnes. And yeah, so I started doing that because he's growing, and then he has that slipover ready when he fits it. And it's not so much to show you, but it's knitted in 2 strands of this merino yarn. This is how far I have come, so not very far. This is not a priority knit. It's just something I knit on here and there. I like to have, if there are projects that I don't love to knit on, because some projects I want to knit, but I don't, it's not what I would knit like I love to knit on. But I want the finished garment, if you know what I mean. Then I decide that I want to knit 30 minutes on it each day if I can manage. No, it's not a pressure. I don't have to do it, but I try to put 30 minutes on my watch, and then I knit for 30 minutes. And that way I get progress on the garment without getting bored of it. So that's the way I like to do it. So that's what I'm doing with this. This is not something that is important to get done. So yeah, that's just how I do it. Not much to tell. It's going to be a slipover at some point, and now it's just stockinette forever and ever. So I am knitting on 3.5 and 4 millimeter needles, and I'm just following the pattern as is this time. Yeah, no modifications, I think. Well, maybe it will be, I don't think so, but I think I'm just gonna knit how it says in the pattern. Yeah. So that's a slipover. And then I had more leftovers of this Thanx. I still have 1.5 ball left of Thanx, even though I knitted a couple of hats. Then yeah, so I really want to have it out of my stash, out of my life. So I just cast on for a headband. I just cast on 50 stitches, and I'm knitting in a tube. No pattern, just and it just looks like this. It's not exciting. So I can have it on my arm. Yeah, so this will be done sometime. It's just what I take around if I'm going out. And I think I just want to make like a twist, sew a twist on it when it's long enough. I think maybe I cast on a bit too many stitches. I wanted a wide headband, but this is really wide. So we'll see how it turns out, but I'm not gonna rip it back. I'm just gonna knit it, and we'll see how it turns out. Just 5 millimeter needles, 50 stitches, the same as this Thanx, light beige. Yeah. And then, of course, there's a new Christmas hat on the needles, because I'm working on my Christmas hat box. This is Calendar Hat 2018 by Handmade by Mona. She has had a calendar hat for several years, I think maybe from 2017. Yeah. So there's a lot of different Christmas hats from her to choose from, which is great. I'm knitting in Rauma Finull, in the colorway 406 blue, 473 pink, and 401 white. I'm knitting on 2 and 2.5 millimeter needles, and as I said, I'm a loose knitter and the hat turns out a little bit big, so I thought this time I would take away a section of the pattern just to make it smaller, and that went great for a while. But now she has you shifting where the section starts in the hat, and then it doesn't add up, so I shouldn't have done that. But I figured something out to make it work. But of course now it's not too small, but it just fits me, and I don't like when it's just fitting. I want a little bit of ease in my hat. Yeah, so that's typical. I shouldn't have gone away from the pattern, but oh well, I'm just gonna knit it. Someone else can I maybe use it in my family, or I can just wear it even though it's a bit tight, or not tight, but yeah. So here it is so far. And first I thought, oh, this is not really Christmas colors, but it's purple, and even though it says it's blue, I think it's really like purpley. And also the pink is more against the purple, so that's the Advent colors. So that's okay. Yeah, so this is my Christmas hat for this episode. Okay, the next one is a sweater, because as I said last time, I was looking at Francesca in the Italian Knitter podcast. I'm just looking at my notes here, I'm sorry. Yeah, and she showed some beautiful yarn in some beautiful colors. Drops Flora in the colorway 23 Misty Green, and Drops Kid Silk in the color 37 North Sea. I think it's such a beautiful color. So when I saw it on her podcast, I was like, I need this color in my life. So I ordered it. And I decided to knit the Daily Pullover by Paula Pereira. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I think she made this pattern for Pearl Soho. Yes, so here it is so far. I have one arm, and I've started on the next. And what I like about this pattern is the neckline. I think it's so nice. The rest is really plain, it's stockinette, but I really love this V-neck. I've knitted the size 2, or 37.25 is what it says, but it's size number 2 in the pattern. On needles 2, 2.25 and 2.5 millimeter needles. So again, small needles, because of my trouble with gauge. Yes, but I'm loving it. It's really, I love this, how these two yarns are together, and I think the color is just amazing. I've tried it on, and I think maybe the color, it stands a bit up on the sides right now. I hope that with the washing and blocking it can help. Yeah, but if it doesn't, I can live with it. I'm not going to do anything with it, but yeah. I really, really love this color, and I'm looking forward to having this in my life. Also knitted this a bit shorter than I would normally do, but actually longer than it says in the pattern, so it is quite cropped sweater. But yeah, I love it. Yes, so that's my daily pullover. My next and last whip, I decided that I am going to wait with, because I wanted to finish this sweater and not start another big project, because before I had done that. But I got yarn for this particular sweater in my cupboard or closet over there. And it's like it just called for me. Come knit me. I want to be knitted. It's not, yeah. So what can you do? You just have to cast on. You can't let the yarn be lonely and not be knitted when it wants to be something. So I gave in and I cast on the Kør sweater by Kreabea, Rebecca Clow. And also a Norwegian podcaster is having a knit along for this sweater right now, so it's the perfect time to join in a knit along and to knit a beautiful sweater. I am knitting the Kør sweater in Drops Soft Tweed in these two colors. And this one is 02 Marzipan, and this is 08 Peppercorn. So this is my main color, and this is going to be the for the color work. Yes. I'm knitting on size, no, I'm knitting on 4mm needles, and I'm knitting the size 3, and this is how far I've come, so it's not a lot. So I just cast on the other day, and when I had done this part, I just thought I would prioritize the daily pullover because I'm so close to finishing that one, so I'm going to knit that done now before I'm continuing with this. But now I have at least cast on and started, so that's a good feeling. I couldn't for the life of me get the gauge on this one. I knitted gauge swatch the way I do. I know it's probably not the best way to do it, so but I knitted a little swatch and I couldn't get gauge, and I went down on my needles, couldn't get gauge, and I just said, well, yeah, it's no fun. Why can I never get gauge? But anyway, I watched Mega in Skeins of Dreams podcast the other day. She had an episode out on gauge and how you can calculate if you have different gauge than in the pattern, how you can calculate what size you need to make. So I actually got very much use of that episode. So thank you, Mega. I don't think you're watching, but thank you anyway. I got a lot of use out of that. So I calculated what size I need to make. So I'm making the size 3. I'm really hoping that I get a great result. I'm very excited about it because I'm very happy with how my fabric looks with my gauge and with the needle size I have now. So here's to hoping that everything will turn out okay. Yeah. So excited for this project. It will soon be knitted on a lot, I think. because it's such a beautiful sweater, and I really want it. So in my last episode, I had decided that I wanted to do a summary of how January went. That's a hard word, January. But I totally forgot. Of course I did. Because in the beginning of the year, I made an episode where I showed you all of my planned projects that I had yarn for but never had gotten around to knit. And I've decided that I want to knit through all those projects and use the yarn I have in my stash. And I thought it would be fun to see how I am doing on that front. If you think that's boring, again, I have chapters below, or I have timestamps, so just feel free to skip ahead. But for me, it's a lot of fun. I like to see other people do this, and for me, it's a great way to see where I'm at. But since I forgot it last time, because I think I want to do this in the first episode of each month and see how did I do in the month before. But now I'm going to quickly do January, and then we can do February. Oh, I'm sorry for my pronunciation. But in January, I knitted 4 things that I had planned in the beginning of the year, and with yarn from stash. I knitted 3 projects that were not planned, but I used yarn from stash. So that was 3 hats, 1 pair of mittens, 1 pair of socks, and 2 sweaters. So that was the first month of the year, and I knitted up 1023 grams of yarn in the first month of the year. Then in February, I knitted things that was planned and I used from stash. It was Barsk sweater that I knitted for my son, the Chunky Dahlia, this dress, Salmon, the Cargill cowl, and the calendar hat 2020. So that was 5 projects. That was planned and from stash. Not planned, but I got the yarn from my own stash, was DK socks, and the 3 monument hats, and that's 4 projects. And I had 1 project that was not planned and I had to buy the yarn this year for, and that's my son's slipover. Yeah, so I have knitted 1665 grams of yarn in February. Yeah, that's great. I'm really happy with how this is going so far. And I believe I can knit out some of my yarn. Of course, there will be some yarn coming in. I have this month, in the end of this month, I'm going to a festival, knitting festival. There will be yarn buying for sure. I can't go to a festival with a lot of beautiful yarn and not buy any. But that's okay. I just want to have a bit more focus on getting some out of my stash as well. That feels really good. And it's a lot of fun to find yarn from my own stash, because I do have a lot of beautiful yarn. Acquisitions and plans. I haven't bought any yarn since last time, so I'm really pleased with myself. But I have had quite the winner's luck in the beginning of this year. So I was watching a Norwegian podcaster a couple of weeks ago, and she had like done a random comment picker in the comments from her previous episode, And I was so lucky that I won. So I won this yarn. Merino Raggi from Järbo yarn. In these beautiful blue colors. And together with a Progress Keeper. It says Fosenfarger, and Fosenfarger is a Norwegian hand dyer. And also she has other yarns as well, so I'm sure it's because this is Järbo has some hand dyed yarn, so I think Järbo is the one who has this colorway. This I'm going to knit some beautiful socks of, I think. Yeah, because it's 75% merino wool and 25% polyamide. Yeah. So I won this. Lucky me. And then actually the same evening that I watched this podcast and I saw I had won this, I watched another podcast because I had participated in a shifty knit along, and I knitted a shifty sweater and I put it into this knit along, and I won again. Yeah, lucky me. I won this beautiful project bag. Look at this. I think it is just so cute. Yeah. And in this, there was this beautiful yarn. Look at this. It's so drapey and soft. I think it's the softest yarn I have ever felt. It's from Værbit, a Norwegian hand dyer. And this is my first yarn from that hand dyer. It's the Canard one strand kid mohair, one thread kid mohair. And it's 700 meters for 100 grams. Yeah, 80% kid mohair and 20% merino. Oh, it's so soft, and this colorway is just beautiful. So I am thinking 700 meters. Can I make myself a cropped top from this? Is it enough? I really want it to be. I was thinking about a salty air tee if I do it really short so I can use it for dresses. Do you think it can be enough? Of course, I need to have a strand of something else together with this. I don't know what. And I really want a strand that doesn't make these colors disappear. Something that, yeah, so I'm not sure what I should use together with this. If you have any suggestions, please let me know, because I really want to wear this. I want it to be a garment. And if it can be, maybe it can be just a sleeveless top. I don't know. If you have any ideas, please let me know. But it's just, oh, it's gorgeous. And then I had a kind of a not bad day, but my mood was like a little bit down. It was it has been some of those days where I had a lot of pain, and yeah, and I was on Ravelry and I just saw, oh, I got the message. And there was just one of you lovely viewers. I haven't asked if I can say your name, so I'm not going to, but that gifted me an ebook with 3 patterns in. It's the Girlfriend's cardigan. It's 3 cardigans patterns in there. And I was just it brought tears to my eyes. I was so touched, and you also wrote the most beautiful words and really encouraging and comforting. So thank you so much. There's particularly one cardigan in there I really want to knit. I want to knit all of them, of course. But the first one is from Ankestrikk, and I can maybe put up a picture, and I really want to knit that soon. So I have to figure out what the yarn I should use. I'm thinking about this one that I put up, which has pink and some white in it. I think it's really nice, and yeah, so I have to figure out what colors I should choose. I think the white is maybe the lace because it's 2 strands. Yeah, so I'm excited to knit that. So thank you so much. That was too kind and so sweet, and yeah, really touched my heart. So thank you. Then I think I have some podcast recommendations. I have a couple because the last few weeks I had a lot of time to watch podcasts, and all the ones I already subscribed to, I had seen everything, I think, so I had to go hunting for some more. And I came over a couple of new podcasters, which is always exciting. So I want to share them with you because I love them so much, and so I really recommend that you go take a look at these. The first one is Lauren from Work Knits, knitting podcast. She lives in England. She has 2 podcast episodes out, and she has one episode in 2 parts with everything I have knit. Yeah, and it's so, she has so many beautiful things she have knitted, and it's just so inspiring because she designs her own design. So she has some designs on Ravelry. She has a hat that I really want to knit and a shawl, and she's so she dares to take like chances in the knitting. I'm trying to find the right words in English to describe what I'm thinking. But she's not afraid to try things, and I thought it was really interesting to watch everything I have knit, because you can really see the progress and her thoughts about it, and yeah, it was really just so it really inspired me to try to maybe do something that doesn't require someone else's pattern, because I have knitted for 4 years now, and I should be able to maybe knit something without using someone else's pattern, because I do love to use other people's patterns, but it would be fun maybe to use some of my scraps or something from my stash I often have some yarn left from projects that I can create something with. That would be really fun, and she really inspired me to do that. So I really recommend that you take a look at her podcast. So Work Knits Knitting Podcast. The next one is A Knitter's Suitcase. It's Daniela. She lives in Australia, and she is an amazing person. She's so joyful. She has 1 episode out, as far as I know. She's just so joyful. She's funny. She has she knits with a lot of colors, and yeah, the whole vibe around her podcast is just so much yeah, joyful is the word I think I can use. So sweet. She had made this self-drafted summer top that I really, really love. It's so beautiful. So really take a look at her podcast too. Really, really a wonderful lady. So yeah, really recommend it. Okay, I think that's everything I have for today. I just want to say thank you so much for if you hold out this entire episode. Yeah, thank you everyone for your beautiful comments and encouraging words and your thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribing, I would really appreciate if you consider doing so. That helps me share my knitting joy and knitting love to more people. Yeah, so I hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world. Knit on something you love, and or crochet or sew. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye.